Does this mic work? Fuck's sake. Sorry, apologies for my language. I just recorded a 30 minutes breakdown of this new training block and the fucking mic didn't work. So hopefully this works. If you're seeing this, it works obviously. I did a couple of tests. Hopefully it's fine. Anyway, welcome to the New Year cycle, the Open Prep cycle that is going to take us from the 1st of January to the 4th of February. This is going to be cycle number 1, before cycle number 2, leading us directly into the Open. Now, what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is essentially I'm going to break down how your training is going to look, and this is a general broad overview. So this isn't designed for any individual in particular, and I'll get into the individual aspects of the program at the end. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a broad overall generalization, or a broad overall kind of perspective into the program for the RX guys, for the intermediate guys, and for the scaled guys. Each program kind of feeds off of itself. So, you know, the intermediate guys are doing a slightly watered down version of the RX stuff, and the scaled guys are doing a slightly watered down variation of the intermediate stuff. With my one-to-one athletes, there's also some one-to-one and specific kind of bits in there. The program's designed, whether it be around class WODs, or whether it be around the work schedule, or whether it be around injuries. That's where the individualization comes into the program, but generally we're all going to be following this sort of template and this sort of kind of structure. Why? Because it fucking works, and you're not as a special a snowflake as you think you are. You actually just need to fucking work out and do it consistently, and you'll make the gains. Who'd have thought it? More on that at the end. However, let's fucking get tucked into this, and I'll try and make it less than 30 minutes. So like I said, it's broken into 3 different categories: RX/elite. I don't coach too many elite guys, but they're certainly fucking pushing that way real quick. But RX, elite, intermediate, and scaled. Now, the reason why this is first is that if you're not a part of the team yet, you might not truly understand what type of athlete that you are. A lot of people either think that they're scaled and they're kind of stuck there, and a lot of people think that they're kind of RX. A lot of people fail to realize that they're actually sitting in this intermediate stage, and they maybe potentially need slightly different progressions and alterations to the program than those who are RX. And same with people who are scaled, who are actually like intermediate, and they're just still doing scaled stuff when actually they could be doing things a little bit better for them. So finding out what type of athlete you are is important. So for MD that I work with knows exactly where they're at. MD that doesn't have a read through this, and you might find out a little bit more about yourself. Big picture stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll give a big picture overview on what the elite and the intermediate guys are going to be doing. I'll give a big picture overview on what the scaled guys are going to be doing, and then I'll break it down into strength, Metcons or CrossFit, and then gymnastics, how those progressions are going to work for the next 4 weeks. Big picture stuff for the start of the week is going to be very heavy on lifting. I'll break down a little bit of how our lifting looks towards the end of the program, or towards the end of this kind of overview. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be max effort. So it's going to be heavy lifting, it's going to be hard, it's going to be pretty brutal, it's going to be tough. But with that being said, that means that our Metcons are going to be done with a little bit lower intensity. So they're still going to be challenging, you're still going to be burst after them, but it's not kill yourself vibes. It's like, it's building yourself up. Essentially, I want like each week to feed off of the next, or feed off of the last, so that, you know, by week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 of these progressions of these workouts, we're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're going to get a lot better. That then flips after a rest day, where we then turn it up a notch on the Metcon stuff, where that actually comes first. You hammer that, you hit that hard, and then we do some light lifting towards the end. Gymnastics is going to be a staple for the elite and RX guys. That's going to be 5 days a week we're going to be doing gymnastics. And it's essentially just kind of like standard like consistency with that. You're just gonna, it's pretty much that. And we know at the bottom there is the effort, you know, and the meaning of effort or max effort is that whatever you have for that day, you know, you give 90% plus effort. If the weights feel heavy or they feel light, adjust accordingly. So if you're feeling like the percentages I give you, or the workout I give you is just fucking way over the top, scale it back and still give it like a hard effort. Just because it's not what's written down doesn't matter. Same on the flip side to that. When things are feeling good and the iron's hot, you fucking strike. So if you're feeling fucking real good that day, you bump things up a wee bit, you move a little bit faster. And but that's a sort of wave of how we kind of, or how we're going to look to adjust things. I'm not a fan of like fucking hammering it all day, every session. Like it just doesn't work for long term development. And to become good at anything, above all, you have to be consistent. In order to be consistent, you have to be able to show up every single day, and it's going to be hard to show up every single day when you're killing yourself. Skilled, a little bit different approach, and that is just where literally you are consistent across the board. So for athletes that are at this stage, typically what they need more than anything is just to show up consistently. I was having a chat with one of my clients this morning, and she was like, "Oh, overhead squats, I'm a little bit funky with them," and I was like, "How many have you done in your lifetime?" Of course, my Mac's gonna fucking die. Hold on. She was like, "Oh, I'm not that confident in them. I don't know how good I am at them." And I said, "How many overhead squats have you done in your life?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe less than 100." And I went, "If you made that 1,000, would you think that you potentially be better at them?" Obviously, the answer was yes. That's 10 times the amount that you've done right now. And that's where a lot of are at, is that they just need to do more of the thing rather than having a special type of thing to do. So that's, again, where that consistency comes in. So just making sure that you're doing 85% effort every single day, you're going to be golden. I'll pause this for just a wee second while I charge my laptop. Hello, so I'm back. So what I'm going to do now is I'll break down the strength. Now, a strength within the elite RX intermediate guys. So the open cycle's here. So we're now beginning to work towards the 2024 CrossFit Open. For the past few cycles, we've been operating, the conjugate style approach with our strength training. So we've been breaking it into two main max effort days with the snatch and the clean and jerk. Or with the back squat and the deadlift, and then two dynamic effort days, again with either the snatch and clean and jerk or back squat and deadlift. There's a cheeky fifth strength session in there with some upper body pressing, it'll be strict press or bench press. And on this cycle, the main priority is going to be Olympic lifting work, with the squat bench dead being secondary. Next block, what we're going to do is the squat bench deadlift is going to be priority, with the Olympic lifting being secondary. What I find that this is a nice wee way to approach is that we're just kind of 4-week blocks of really heavy work on the snatch. We then pull it back to work on volume or technique, and then going back to it, and vice versa with the back squat, with the squat clean, with the power clean, with the deadlift, and these things sort of kind of undulate as we climb up the program. So, where was I? Yeah, big difference between the RX, the intermediate, is the volume of the accessory work, the secondary work. Other than that, it's a very similar approach, and I'll break. And essentially with the scale guys as well, it's a very similar approach. It's just kind of slightly watered down version of it, so that you're able to handle the load. And be able to progress off of it. So Mondays, max effort Mondays, you're going to be starting with snatch doubles. That progression is going to be from high blocks. Eventually, over the course of the 4 weeks, taking it from the floor. We're then going to go into some snappy technique work before hitting a linear progression with a low box back squat. Accessory work is going to be for the quads and for the core. Tuesdays, new chest day. It's going to be basically we're following on from the past two cycles that we've done, a 5x5 and then a 5x3. Now we're going to build into a heavy single over the course of 4 weeks. It's going to be a 4, 3, 2, 1, building up and following on with some upper body bodybuilding work to help, who doesn't want to get more jacked. And then Wednesday, it gives us this is our last heavy session before rest day and before a kind of lighter lifting, where we're going to be doing a power clean progression, which is very similar to the squat snatch progression. Now, just a quick note, whenever I do squat snatches, I'll do power cleans, and whenever I do squat cleans, I'll do power snatches. I like to vary those and make sure that we're just not overloading that squat pattern. I find that for me, when I do lots and lots and lots of squatting, I just get fucking really sore rather than get better. And then we're going to be following that up with some strict press and some deadlift linear progressions, and then accessory work is going to be for the hamstrings and for the core. Friday is the beginning of the 1 kilo weight, the 1 kilo lifting club. There's more. I said more details below, but I'll lie to you. There's more details inside the actual program. But essentially, we're starting off with a really, really light variation of the Olympic lift, performing anywhere between 7 and 12 singles of it, and every single week you add 1 kilo. The idea is to be light, is to be easy, it's to be slightly challenging as you get into the program. So after about 6 weeks, it starts getting challenging rather than week one. And the kind of idea of it is that you build up speed, you build up technique, and you build up, being comfortable around that 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max. We then follow that up with some speed work, some sub-maximal loads or no loads, and then some accessory work for push and pull, and then the 1 kg weightlifting club for clean and jerk before hitting some push press progressions, some classic bodybuilding, and a light lunge progression. these high rep lunges are going to get pretty nasty. It's empty barbell lunges, but once you do 100 of them, you're going to be feeling it in the cheeks. CrossFit. Now, within CrossFit, we're going to get a lot more sport specific, i.e. actually doing CrossFit rather than building the base, which is what we've done over the past few weeks. That last cycle there was a lot more CrossFit involved. We were doing some CrossFit.com workouts. We're doing a couple of open workouts. Now there's going to be a real structure to it where we're going to be pairing up some classic combinations. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday session, again, like I said at the start, is designed to be done at roughly round about that, 75 to 85% intensity. So it's at threshold. It's something that's repeatable. It's something that you can, if I asked you to do that full workout again, you could. That way we can get better every single week. Mondays, we're going to be combining thrusters and pull-ups. Classic combination. We see it all the time. It's probably one of the most infamous and notorious combinations that you've got in CrossFit with the thruster pull-up, Fran, Fantasy Land, Friendly Fran, many other open tests. It's something that we're going to look to try and build up on with a kind of light to moderate barbell, that 40 kilo-ish weight, 30-ish kilo-ish weight for the females, for the males and females, and then doing things like pull-ups, maybe even chest to bar, and then going into potentially bar muscle-ups on some of the workouts. Tuesdays is going to be a combination of the snatch and the clean and jerk, or snatch or clean and jerk with a burpee variation. So similar to Fran, we see this combination come up all the time. We're essentially going to be doing 4 different types of snatch or clean and jerk, 2 with the dumbbell, 2 with the barbell, and then different types of burpee variations. Again, just to make sure we've got all bases covered. Wednesdays are going to be a combination of deadlifts and handstands. Workouts like Diane, several open tests have paired a moderate to light, moderate, heavy deadlift with handstand walks, handstand push-up a good few times. We'll do a mixture of the movements, whether it be handstand push-up, handstand walk, and varying weights on the deadlift, starting with some nice light weights that we can cycle and some heavier weights that might challenge us, that we can't do them unbroken. Fridays, we're going to do open repeats, tests, retests. We're going to start off in 2012. We're going to do a bunch of open workouts. I might even pick some more frequent ones that you've maybe done in the past, which is good to kind of measure back on and see roughly where you're at just now. And we're basically going to work our way through them. And then on Saturdays, again, you're going to be doing open style intervals. So again, I'm going to be picking an open workout. We're going to be doing interval variations of it. So for example, the workout that was 1 up to 10 down to 1 deadlifts and burpees, you might do that workout, but we do 3-minute AMRAP, 2-minute rest, 5 rounds. I've not actually made that workout. It was just came off the top of my head, but you get the kind of gist of it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, you are moderate at intensity for your workouts. They're hard, they're challenging. You're still going to be burst, you're still going to be sweating, you're still going to be working, but you're not at capacity or you're not redlining, whereas on Friday and Saturdays, you're kind of really pushing it out there. And again, like I said at the start, effort is subjective. It's what you have for that given day. If you feel like a bag of dicks that day, you're still getting in and still getting it done. It's just maybe not to a world record, and that's fine. Finally, gymnastics. With gymnastics, we are going to essentially follow on from what we are doing on our strength sessions and our CrossFit sessions. So this all ties in quite nicely. Where on Mondays, because we're already doing pull-ups, we're going to be doing a pull day. On Tuesdays, our grip and our core is already engaged, so we're going to be doing some toes to bar, some V-sits or some GHDs. On Wednesdays, it's going to be a press day because we're already inverted, doing handstands. We're going to follow that up with something a little bit more technical. Fridays, for the RX only guys, this is going to be more ring muscle-ups, GHDs, some of the more complex movements, potentially even some handstand walking in there. And then on Saturdays, is going to be a mixed element, so that's going to be a push, pull, and compress. So we are going to be approaching this session or this gymnastics work very, very similarly to how a bodybuilder approaches their training. So with a push-pull legs, we are going to be doing a pull, a compress, and a press day, and then a mix. So very similar sort of concept. I found it's worked really, really well for me in the past. And a lot of the gymnastics that we're doing here, especially for the elite guys and the RX guys, is that if we do a pull-up, for example, on the Monday, we're then going to follow that up with some bar muscle-ups or rope climbs for volume and for accumulation. For the intermediate guys, we're going to do the same thing. However, what you're going to do is that you're going to do some drills to make you more efficient at the bar muscle-up, or some drills to make you more efficient at the legless rope climb, rather than getting lots and lots of reps in and they might be a bit rubbish or you might not get any. We're going to work on technique. I'll break down what the scale guys are going to do in a wee second. Look at that, fucking as if I've already done this. fucking whatever. Anyway, so skilled athlete full. This is kind of full breakdown. So for skilled athletes, I always want them to prioritise solid strength work. Sorry, I've actually missed a bit. I've missed a bit here. I'll kind of tie in with this quite quickly. I forgot to write it down. But basically on Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, there's 3 different types of, kind of workouts we can do. We can do EMOMs, we can do AMRAPs, or we can do things for time. That gives you 3 different types of approach, 3 different types of workout, 3 different types of, outcome for that workout. Over the course of the next 4 weeks, we are going to do a variation of all of the above for each of these sections, if that makes sense. So on Mondays, week 1, you might do for time. Week 2, you might do an EMOM. Week 3, you might do an AMRAP. Same with Tuesdays here. For clean and jerk burpee, you might do for time, you might do an EMOM, you might do an AMRAP. And that's going to vary each week. So each week you do all 3 different types of workout, if that makes sense. Sorry, I wanted to kind of add that in. And again, if any of this confuses you guys, there will be daily breakdowns. This is a kind of broad, general overview. If I was to break down every single workout, this would be 5 hours long. I've already been here for 45 minutes doing this, so we'll try and keep this as quick as we possibly can. But yeah, there's going to be, for guys inside the program, there's going to be daily videos kind of breaking down what exactly I'm expecting from you for these workouts. But for this, it's just essentially it's a kind of broad overview. But to bring this back to the scale, guys, I always want skilled athletes to prioritise solid strength work. Quite often when they're doing just classes, they might not get as much touch or as much exposure to strength progressions as they potentially need in order to get better. That's not in every case, but it's in most. And as a skilled athlete, I already said that. We prioritise strength. So the goal here for skilled athletes is to prioritise all the strength and gymnastics work within the gain line progressions. And then after that, I'm happy for you to, either choose the workouts I give you for Metcons and CrossFit, or to do your CrossFit classes. CrossFit classes are phenomenal. It's a phenomenal tool in order to kind of drive you to get better. Ultimately, it's what draws a lot of us to love this thing in the first place, is being part of a gym, training with your friends, being part of a community and all that sort of stuff. But to be good at anything, above all, you must be consistent. And if being a part of a community pushes you to train a little bit harder, then do that. Make sure you're hitting the classes. So basically what I'm saying is that if you're a skilled athlete, your objective is to hit my strength stuff, hit my gymnastic stuff, and do whatever Metcons that you want. You can do mine, you can do the classes. I'm always a fan of making sure that my intermediate athletes and my skilled athletes do as many classes as they can whilst following the strength progressions that I give them, and being able to recover from. Because classes are great. They're great fun. I love them. I've been doing them more often because they're fun to do. Mondays, very similar. And again, this is a very similar breakdown to the RX stuff. It's just a more watered down version. We're going to be doing some snatch technique work with empty bar or really, really light weights, some linear back squat progressions. And like I said, it's just a very similar split to the RX athletes with a big focus on moving well, make sure we nail the fundamentals. Tuesday is a rest day from strength work, but you have the option to hit easier sessions, work on some skills, double up on some of the things that you're maybe not as good at, whether that be double unders, whether that be handstand holds, whether that be your hollow arch positions or your core strength. That gives you time to kind of work on things that are a little bit lower fatigue, but higher in reward in terms of skill in the sport of CrossFit. Wednesday, another taker session with a really light barbell, empty barbell, to build confidence in the clean, power clean, the front squat before moving into some strict work and some strength work through your deadlift and your handstand push-up. That is the first gymnastics session that we've got in the program. Fridays is your full Olympic lifting day where you practice the power positions going into the squat. So you might do 1 power snatch, 1 overhead squat for a bunch of reps. Specific jerk work to practice your footwork and get used to driving the bar straight overhead. And then you'll have options for workouts and lower body strength endurance. And then, on Monday, you've actually got some toaster bar work. So Monday is toaster bar work, Wednesday is handstand push-up work, and then Saturday is a little bit of heavy lifting with some strict press, and then either overhead squat or front squat, depending on what you're weakest at, and then heading into some upper body strength, and with the final gymnastic session of the week being kipping pull-ups to round off a solid week of training. That's kind of going to be the progression. Those are kind of already lined out for the next 12 weeks in that scale breakdown. Basically, the goal for every single scaled athlete is to try and take them from scaled into that intermediate phase as quickly as we possibly can. If we can get you there in 4 weeks, let's fucking do it. If we can get you there in 40 weeks, again, let's do it. Depending on where you're at, how much training experience you've had in the past, will kind of vary on how quickly you can get out of this category and into the next. Here's just a kind of little bit of a breakdown. Again, kind of zoomed out. That was quite in depth and quite nitty gritty, but that's just a little bit more zoomed out variation. Again, you guys have got a copy of this, so you can read through it a little bit better. And this is just a little bit of a breakdown for the new 12-week programs. So I've got a bunch of programs that are kind of already free. I've got the Zero to Hero Bar Muscle Up one, Gainline Engine 1.0, but Gainline Engine 2.0 is going to launch alongside this block on the 1st of January. It's going to run all the way through to quarterfinals, and this one's a little bit better. There's going to be more solid running, rowing and biking progressions, then with some mixed kind of like light conditioning sessions. I'm going to do a separate kind of talk on this, but essentially it's just to kind of let you guys know that there's more of these things coming up. So if you're watching this and you're not a member, there's going to be more free stuff coming out. If you're watching this and you are a member, again, it's still going to benefit you because you can run these adjacent to some of the strength programs that we're already doing. With that being said, for some of the guys who are in that scale to intermediate phase, there's going to be a lot of programs that are going to be coming out this year. I'm essentially going to drop one a month. So you don't even need to fucking pay me, and you can still follow everything I do, and you'll make mad gains if you just follow this, if you're that scale to intermediate guy, where we're going to be, I've got a new thing. It's going to be from none to some to lots, and I'm going to release programs with handstand push-ups, handstand walk, ring muscle up, kipping pull-ups or butterfly pull-ups, toes to the bar. If you're someone who's got none and you want to get some and then you want to get lots, these 12-week programs are going to be fucking sick. So yeah, wider the base, taller the peak. Shout out Louis Simmons. And yeah, to kind of wrap this up, I've done this 9 minutes quicker. I'm not finished yet, but I'm already like 7 or 9 minutes ahead. I must have rambled a lot in the last one, so I'll keep this concise and we'll wrap this thing up. What about the individualization? So all of my athletes are essentially following this sort of template. So what makes it individual? And you'd be very right to ask that. After all, Gainline Strength is designed for the individual. So what makes it individualized if we all follow a template? This is where I'll pop most people's cherries. Most programs are broadly not individual. And why is that? Because there is abundance of cases, evidence, programs, progressions that work for almost every athlete at every stage. Narrowly, however, working with a coach, you're really able to prioritize what is essential for your development. So you can go and find the best program on the internet, right? You've got it here already, but you could go and find the best program on the internet, but without the correct application and intent, it doesn't really mean much. You have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and the reasons for doing so. And that's essentially what these videos, what these daily breakdowns are going to be for, and these monthly kind of cycle breakdowns are going to be for. But most coaches who claim to have a completely individual program that's a golden egg written for you have done two things. They've actually done three. They've copy, paste, and they've lied. Now, does that mean there's no individual aspects to this program? Absolutely not. The thing that makes it individual is that, one, you've got the daily accountability. So you have a coach whose sole job is to guarantee your success. Anybody that comes into the program, I essentially have a guarantee with them that when they come down and they do their kind of first analysis, or we do their first needs analysis and wants analysis, we determine what it is you actually want from this and whether or not I can help you. And if I think I can help you, I guarantee we get there. And if I don't, I work with you for free until we do. That's essentially the kind of the crux of the training program. There's daily training videos, voice notes to determine the field, target, and intent of each session. Now, for anybody that's currently on the program and they're wondering what the hell that is, that's new. That's something I'm going to import into the new year, is just making sure that you actually know what each session is designed to do and why. I'm very good at just writing stuff down and understanding, like, hey, this is a fucking really good workout. This is what we'll do. But all you're seeing is numbers and exercises. You're not understanding, like, right, what is actually the intent and why I'm actually doing this. So hopefully with daily videos, we begin to break that down a little bit better. In-person sessions were available, so anybody that works with me online has the opportunity to come in and train with me where it suits our schedules and stuff like that, if it aligns. Exact weights, progressions and paces to hit for your strength and fitness levels, weekly check-ins, as much communication as you and the coach need. And then there's also a bunch of stuff that I've not put in there in terms of, like, I have people who work many different aspects of life. You know, I've got people who are teachers, people who are engineers, people who are self-employed, people who have got lots of time to train, people who have got no times to train. The template remains the same, but we just make adjustments where needed. You can only train at certain times, you only have certain amounts of equipment. Cool, this is what we'll do instead. This is where the program becomes individualized. The core principles and the key things is that we follow these things, right? The roadmap is here. The path is here, right? There's no point in trying to create something fucking completely different for every single person. That's just, one, not efficient for me, and two, it's not efficient for you. Why would something that's working for everyone else not work for you? I made a post a wee while ago and it got a little bit of traction, and I had a lot of feedback from some coaches as well, is that if you're not making program, it's not the program's fault, it's your fault for the most part. And that's where having someone that can literally hold you accountable to your own bullshit, for one, and hold you accountable to making sure that you're training well, training correct, and training right, is going to be the thing that actually makes you progress. So if you watch this far, one, you're a bit of a saddle because you've got nothing else to do with your day. It's fucking Christmas, or sort of Christmas. But two, I really appreciate you. So if you're someone that is a part of the program already, I'm looking forward to getting us stuck into this, and expect an individual note from me to let you know what I'm expecting per session and per week. Also try and arrange some sessions to get you in as well. There's also going to be notes on the next team day and badminton. We're doing a wee badminton tournament for those guys who are local and a part of the team. Totally not related to CrossFit, but it doesn't matter. And for MD that's watching this that isn't a member of Gainline and wants to be, just drop me a message. I've got a couple of, I hate this, people are like, I've got a couple of spaces, but I genuinely do have only the capacity to give this level of detail to only a handful more individuals. So MD that wants to jump on prior to the first, let me know now. Don't let me know in the first. Once this fucking boat sails, it's gone. I'll get you in next block. I'll get you in for the next wave. But yeah, so really appreciate your time. If you want to find out more or get any more details from me, drop me a message on Instagram with the word breakdown, and I'll give you everything that you need to get started. Attached to this as well, sorry, before I go, my laptop is that warm, it's making noise, it's about to take off. With that being said, there is a free sample week as well, either attached to this or in a separate document that hopefully you'll get your hands on. So if you're not a member and you're someone who's RX, someone who's intermediate, or someone who's scaled, there's a free week that gives you exactly what you need in order to kind of get started for the first week. Kind of gives you a rough feel for the program, and anything else you need, let me know. But other than that, adios people, lots of love.